Good morning or good afternoon. We're just going to give everybody another minute to join, and we'll get started. All right, just going to give one more minute. We'll jump right into things. I'm here in New York. Chi's also in New York today. Drop us in the chat where you're joining us from. Let's see how wide we're getting this thing. Cleveland in the house. Minnesota, nice.
Minnesota.
We're not going to do impressions, I promise, for the rest of this. Yeah. Awesome. Great state of Michigan. Sweet. Awesome. All right, I think let's just jump into it. This is a shorter webinar, so there's going to be a 30-minute. We're going to probably take 25 and leave 5 for questions at the end. However, now I know you guys know how to use the chat function, so if you have questions throughout, go ahead and drop a question in there. And Chi, if you'll help monitor the chat while I'm speaking, and I'll do vice versa for yourself, we can keep an eye on things. And so I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Aubrey Burton. I'm the Executive Director for Business Development for WAC. And I'm joined today by the esteemed Chi Chow. Chi's been with us for over 20 years. Been selling tape light. Chi, how many of those years have you been selling tape light for?
Probably 15.
15 years. Senior sales manager for the Northeast. She moves an awful lot of this product, so we brought in an expert for you guys. And this is the second installment in our Contractor Solutions webinar series. Obviously, the topic for today is going to be tape light made easy, and we're going to focus on simple, reliable, linear lighting solutions. Focusing on 3 different types of tape lights primarily, although we'll get into a little bit of some of the others as well. So without further ado, I think let's jump into things. So, and this webinar is also being recorded. So if a colleague of yours wasn't able to join, or if you have to drop off, this will be made available afterwards as well. Okay, so starting off, I want to reintroduce ourselves as the WAC Group. We developed this parent brand about a year ago, and this ultimately encompasses these 4 brands. WAC Architectural, which saw its first launch at Leducation last month. This is going to be geared more towards the architectural portion of our business. You've got WAC Lighting, which is largely what you guys are very familiar with already, I'm sure. You've got Modern Forms and Schonbeck on your decorative and fan end as well. But today we're really going to be concentrating the WAC Lighting core focus of our portfolio. And within that, we've also carved out or curated a section of our products called our Contractor Solutions. And this will be a all-encompassing in a Contractor Solutions catalog, which will be likely hitting your doorstep soon. These Contractor Solutions catalog are really geared more towards your commonly found items, less on the architecture. You're not going to see like your tube architecturals in there or anything like that, but you're going to see your tape, your track heads, outdoor tracks, some recess solutions as well. So this is going to be a big winner, I think. And so everything in this series that we're going to present, I think there's 5 installments of the series. They will all be product that is found in this catalog. So just helping familiarize you or your customers or your clients with the product. So getting right into it. So we're going to talk through our tape light systems. Most of you guys know what tape light is in the marketplace. It's been out for a few years, but we want to focus on our key solutions in this space. And the first of which is our Gemini series. Chi, would you take us through the Gemini series here?
Yeah, so the Gemini series is a very cost-effective tape for us. It's really it's in our limited line, and it's you either buy there in wheels, they come in 15-foot, 24-foot, or 100-foot reels. Very easy, if you couple like 2 inches. The joiner cables that can joiners that you can just connect them anywhere along the connection point. Comes in 3 different color temperatures: 27, 3000, 35. I'm sorry, 4 different colors, which is 4000 also, which is great, especially for contractors who's buying 100-foot reels, and you cut them anywhere along the 2-inch cutting, and they can just finish the job and then use the rest for the next job. I love it how Gemini also come in the kit. The kit is great because the 15-foot reels with the power supplies, and it comes with plenty of accessories inside the box. So if the contractor is looking to do the next job, they can continue on using accessories inside the kit also. So this is a great, inexpensive solutions for the tapes. The number one sellers for this series is actually the 300 lumens, but the 100 and 200 still have some place in there for toe kicks, also for some ambient lightings. So in each tape itself, obviously with the lumen, higher the lumens, the shorter of the runs because of the wattage.
Yeah, well said, Chi. Chi, can you talk to us about this connector? I've seen other competitor tapes that offer this like shark tooth system that kind of pierces into the tape. What gives this an advantage over those?
So the best part about the connectors is that it's using a small screws, so you can tighten it right at the connection point. With those, with the inexpensive shark tooth that pierce through, the problem with that is over time it might comes loose and oxidation, so it comes loose, so the continuity isn't there, and the tape is just going to burn out over time right at the connection point to either reconnect them. So this is the reason why we choose the screw terminals over those type of connectors. And by the way, the connector is also clear. So when you have a connection, the light still come through that clear connection, where some others actually is a white terminal. So the light does not come out. So you see a dark spot over there.
Yeah, great. Well said, Chi. Thanks. And we've also got a couple of accessories. I saw someone in the chat had asked about L connectors if they're available as well. And sure enough, here they are, third in the line. Chi, you want to talk through some of the accessories and power supply options for this tape series?
Yep. So obviously you have the tape connectors. You just want to make sure you either get the tape to tape connections. You also have the tape to wire connections. At one end, at the end of the run, you make sure that you have either a tape to tape when you're connecting from one section to the others, but others when you're running through from one cabinet to another cabinet, you might want to run the tape to the wire connections because you're running wires in between. You also have the X and the Y connectors that could do splits. You have in-wall rated connectors. You also have longer lead wires connectors. You also have the different color connectors because obviously some colors, what white comes in, so you can hide it in there, or when you have the black wires when you have a darker finish. You also have your power supplies that actually comes with a connector at the end, so you can actually start to run without wiring the powers. You can also use the most easiest one is the dimmer driver. The dimmer driver is really popular among the contractors is because they don't have to buy a separate dimmer for it. Everything is included in there. They can just connect it to the tape directly and it's ready to dim. You also have the aluminum channels. What's great with our channels is that our channels will actually fit with the connectors inside. So when you have a connection, you can still slide the connectors inside with any of the channels. It doesn't matter if it's corner or the shallows or the deeps. So all of them will fit inside. That's what's great about our product line, is that we make sure everything is compatible, but everything also will fit snug so that it looks much cleaner compared to some of the competitors that might use a slimmer channels to cut costs, but you're not going to fit the connectors inside.
Yeah, awesome. Well said. And in terms of these channels, just to add on to what she shared, you've got these this shallow aluminum channel, you've got the deeper aluminum channel, angle channel, and each one of these channels will accommodate any one of our tapes, any one of our indoor tapes at least. So these same channels we won't re-review each time, but they are cross-compatible across our series. There's a couple questions coming in the chat that I'd like to address. So what's the deal with the open end caps? And I think what we're referring to is this small opening at the bottom here. That's to allow the wire connection, because you can put that connector inside of the channel. That means you got to have your wire fed inside. A lot of folks will also just remove the end caps when you're butting up two channels next to each other. Peggy had asked, what are the advantages of a dimming driver? Great question. So the idea of a dimmer driver is basically, if you were going to dim your tape light anyway, now you don't have to hide a power supply, under the kitchen cabinet or above, and then run wires back through the driver or dim it on the line voltage side. In effect, this sits inside of a junction box and acts as both your dimmer and your driver inside of a single gang box. So that's the main draw. Yeah.
It's also on the installs too. If you do a remodel, you already have existing wires inside, so you don't have to find the wires and hide the power supply after the traditional dimmers. So now that will replace both the drivers and the dimmer at the same time.
The other one that I like to point out, and again, this is applicable across all our families, is the IR sensor. So a lot of folks like using this for when you're using tape light inside of cabinet doors. So obviously the tape light will be off until you open the cabinet door and it's unobstructed, and then the light will illuminate. So yeah, a couple of different features here in terms of channels, accessories. And let's jump into our next series here. So that's our Gemini series, is the most cost effective, and we're kind of going in a good, better, best scenario. So now let's get to our better version. Chi, you want to take us through the Light Plus, Pro 2 Plus, and Pro 3?
Yeah, so our Invisalite series has been with us since the 12-volt days. Ari and I were just talking about this. So it has evolved. It really has evolved into, right now, it's the COBs. So the Cobb series itself, it's a much cleaner looking. It's no longer the diodes on the Invisalite Light Plus. You're looking at about 150 lumens, closet rated, which is actually getting more and more look at with a lot of inspectors. But also, we've also added two different color temperatures. So we added the 2200K and the 4500K just to meet the market demands. So now you have 22, 27, 30, 35, and 45K for all the color temperatures. And this tape itself still uses our traditional 5-pin, but it shows as 4 pins, but it will work with our old 5-pin system. So it's backwards compatible with our previous systems, but now this is the COB, much better, much cleaner looking. And also with this, you can, technically, if you have an existing project, you can actually use the same tape onto the old power supplies too. So this is just the first level, so which is 150 lumens, stamp location rated. The next one is our Invisalite Pro. Next slide.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. The Pro Plus is pretty much one of our top sellers between the Pro Plus and the Pro Plus 2. This is 200 lumens, which is match up with our traditional Pros, which is our #1 seller till this day, still the same thing. Same thing, all 5 different color temperatures now added with the 22 and the 45. I want to mention that on the 22K is getting really, really popular, especially with the Pro Plus. You get a little bit, definitely more lumens, even though it's still kind of like an ambient solution. But now a lot of people are looking for that warm because they know that with the COBs, the yellow COBs are much cleaner too. So it gives that warm feelings when you're doing a design around under cabinets or even in the bedrooms around the coves. So that's another great solutions for it. Again, as you go up on the lumen output, your maximum run length will run a little bit lower. On this one, you're running at about 33 feet with a 96-watt power supply. Again, this one is also closet rated, so it's a great solution for a little bit more lumen output, but still at a COB light. And then the next one. So this is our Pro Plus 2, which is the other popular one. This is 300 lumens, which what most project these days are, not just for under cabinets, for in cabinets, for toe kicks, for around mirrors. That people are putting tapes all over the house with the Pro Plus 2 because of the 300 lumen package, so that you can either pull full brightness, so it can act like a task lighting, but you can still dim it down to, like with a 2200K, down to like a warm ambient light. So it does function in both with the dimmers. Again, same thing, 5 different color temperatures. You have the different sizes. You have the 2-inch, the 1-inch, the 2-inch, the 1 foot, the 5 foot, but you also have a 2-inch in the 10 pack or a 1 foot in the 40 packs. Those are great when you're running projects that are longer runs, and then you no longer have to have a long runs. One of the things with the individual connections is that when you connect in each one, it's an easier install than you're running along lead wires. That's because when you're doing one connection at a time, a contractor actually find it much easier to install 1 foot at a time, peel and stick, so that they don't have to worry about the long runs, bending one of the tapes and then causing it to like, we have a bad section, we have to cut this and then reinstall. So that's one of the benefits of using the pin connections, which I still love, which is still a top quality product. Over time, because of the pin connections, I find that the tape itself lasts longer, especially with our electronic transformers. They run on a lower temperature and much more efficient. So the tape itself, which would run much longer. We have customers still telling us to this day that, oh, hey, I installed your tape 10 years ago, it's still running, To me, that's bad because we're not selling more tape, but it's also good to hear that our product is still better quality, especially compared to a lot of the competitors out there. And last but not least, our Pro.
I just want to touch on a couple things just while we're still here before we jump to the Pro 3. So one thing I want to point out is you're seeing 2 different images of this Pro 2 Plus, as well as in white and yellow. The yellow coated is only on the 2200 Kelvin. All of the others, meaning 27,335 or 4500 Kelvin, are all with the white COB. So it looks super clean, even if it's not hidden within a channel. The other thing I wanted to mention is Lee had mentioned, is WAC cross compatible with others' LED strips? Likely not. I think we're the only one that has this pin male-female connector that I'm aware of, at least. So you'd not be able to join someone else's tape with ours, I don't believe. And second thing is someone has their hand up in the chat. I don't know how to call on you. So if you wouldn't mind typing your question into the chat, or I can figure out how to unmute you by the end of the call. And then there's another question about this being indoor or outdoor rated. All of our Pro series has what we call an Invisicoat over it, which makes it damp location listed. It's not wet location listed. We do have a series of outdoor tapes as well for wet location listing. Ashley's asking, can we explain the pin connection in more detail? Happily. So here, what you're seeing, everything is male and female ended. So when you order this 1 foot sections, for example, you're going to have the male end and the female end. You just physically pin them together and you're good to go. We also have RGBW available as well. We're not going to get into the details of the RGBW today, but we do have it available as well. We've got all sorts of tapes. We'll show a graphic at the end that shows all of our different assortment. But these are definitely the most popular styles, and we've done an awful lot with this pin connection, and it's very successful to use sample or test kits where we can make these connections. I'm not sure I understand the question. We do have kits like I'm showing behind me, and we'll get into this in a second, that I can talk through. But let's keep plugging away. I'll come back to some of these questions. You keep firing away. We'll get everyone addressed, I promise. All right, Chi, take us through the Pro 3.
So the Pro 3 is our highest lumen package for the Invisalite series. It's about 450 lumens. This one is still at the individual LED chip instead of the CLB. One of the main reasons why is because the Pro 3 itself, you can see on the picture, you can actually do a bend on each, where it shows you how you can actually fold it and then bend into a certain shape. And that's something that a lot of our customers love because this is unique to our product line that I don't believe anyone else can do that on their tape, because most likely when you do that, you're going to lose a connection. So you're able to bend to a certain type of angles and make certain type of shapes using the clips to hold it in, so that you can actually do a special design with the tape. So that's the reason why we kept the Pro 3 still at the LED chip instead of the CLBs, just to fulfill a lot of the projects, just to do the special designs. And same thing, it still is the depth location rated. This one is still only at from 27 to 4500. We don't see a need for a higher, a lower color temperature than the 2200K, because this is a much brighter tape. So again, this will work with all of our power supply that we're working on Invisalite Pro 3s, which next page will show you all of our accessories. There we go. So as you can see, this is all the compatible Class 2 power supplies and the tape accessories. We have electronic power supplies, which is great, a smaller package, much more efficient, which is our EN series. This series has been with us for decades. Even if when it's 12 volt, it was still the EN series. So it's the most reliable electronic power supply that we have in our system. But we also have other power supply that can meet market demands, such as the PS power supply, which is a much more robust power supplies. We also have our universal, which is the 12277 power supplies, a plug-in. But also, we still have the dimmer drivers, which is getting more and more popular even within this series too, just because the contractors or customers feel like, hey, I can just use one and then I don't have to buy a separate dimmers to worry about a dimmer compatibilities or things like that. And you see the tape accessories on the side. Actually, it's different from the Geminis. Obviously, you have the tape-to-tape connection. You also have the tape to wire connections. These are all, you can play around with it, that when you're doing certain jobs, you might have to run either wire to wire or tape to wire connections. We also have projects that what happened is they cut on one side of the tape and can no longer use the other side. Well, you actually can, because even though you lose one of the connections, you can use, there's a male-male connection right there. So you can actually still reuse the other side of the tape using the male-male connection to continue on to run. So everything else you saw here, but you also see the IR sensors right there on the bottom that Aubrey mentioned on the Geminis, which is getting more and more popular. So a lot of people just love using those type of sensors to, when you open the cabinets, under cabinets or in cabinets, that the lights light up the whole cabinets without even turning it on and off each time. So you can actually have individual switches automatically using these sensors.
Perfect. Well said. And last but not least, certainly not least, this is our Invisaled Duet series. And so we spoke about a good, better, best. This, to me at least, is the best product in the marketplace. This offers you CCT selectability or tunability if you're using through the WAC home system over 2 wires. So I'm going to say that again, because what you're getting is ultimately looks like a COB solution. So it looks like one continuous strip, but you're able to change the color temperature just by either switching the driver, or you can use it with one of our apps to digitally address that as well. And we offer it in 100 lumens, 200, 300, 400, 600, or 1000 lumens per foot, which is an awful lot of lumens per foot. And again, that's over 2 wires. So you can do this in a retrofit situation. You don't need to run new 3-wire, 4-wire, 7-channel tunable white anything. You can do it over 2 wires, and that's what makes this particularly unique. We do it in 2 flavors, I'll call them. Option A will get you from 1800K up to 4,000, or option B will get you 2,700 to 5,000. So do you want your tape to be on the warmer end of the spectrum or the cooler end of the spectrum? And that's the only decision making you have to make up front. We think this makes it very easy to keep an inventory, to keep on your shelf, to change after the fact, depending on what the finishes, the backsplashes, the paint colors come in looking like. So that's this. And one thing I'll mention here is that it works with WAC Home. I'll go into more of that in one slide here. Chi, did I miss anything on this slide you wanted to speak to?
No, this is a phenomenal product. We're getting more and more project on this one. Just want to mention that this uses a gold-plated screw terminal just to have a better continuity. So hence, a little bit more expensive, but definitely worth it.
Well said. Yeah, and talking through this power supply, the power supply itself has the switch directly on it. So when your client comes home and says, doesn't it look a little bit warm to you? I don't know if I like this. You can make that accommodation for them right on the driver itself and avoid a return and leave with a happy customer. And secondly, if you were to use this with the WAC home system, which is our own proprietary control protocol, you can build this into scenes. And you could, in theory, say, hey, I want a focus scene where my cove light lights up to a 4000K, or I have a relaxed scene where it's a 5% brightness at 1800 Kelvin. You can create this dynamic scenes and have one of our WAC home wall stations act as your scene controller. So a lot of flexibility in this. And the last thing that I'll go into is this case right here that's behind me. So we have this Contractor tape case here. So it's like a little briefcase. And in this briefcase, we've got all of the aforementioned tapes here. And so you've got your Gemini series up top. You've got your Pro Plus in 3000K, and then you've got your Duet series. And because we're talking about the Duet, and this is also Duet here in this channel, you've also got some different accessory channels for recessed into millwork, or whether it's recessed into sheetrock and mudded over with an accessory lens. But just to show you how this kit would work, I would be able to take the intensity down or up, and I'd also be able to change the color temperature from warmer to cooler with these little sliders. And I could do the same with any number of these tapes here. I'm not sure how well this is showing on camera, so you may have to, if you want to stop sharing my screen so everyone can see the kit. Yeah, I'll do that. Sorry, if you can see here. All right, so I'll do that one more time. So you're on off. I can change the intensity up or down. I can also change the color temperature. So we do have these available now at many distributors, and we're trying to get into the hands of contractors as well to be able to bring to your clients and show them what you can offer. I'm going to leave my email address in the chat. And if you have a need for a kit or want me to partner you up with a distributor, I'm happy to do so. Or maybe you are the distributor. My email's in the chat. So with that, we are right at time. If you have to jump, I certainly understand. If you want to hang out and ask any questions, I'm happy to, Chi and I are happy to answer them for you.
Oh, did we go over the um tunable white?
Yeah, so the other these are our other tapes, by the way, that we offer. We also I call them specialty tapes. We do a dim to warm tape, an RGB WW, a tunable white. These are for indoor. And for outdoor, we offer our standard outdoor, our Pro Plus outdoor, which is a Cobb solution, and an RGB WW for outdoor. With that, I'll open it up to, do we offer an dimmable CCT tape? So the CCT tape would be the duet tape, which is dimmable. Every tape we showed is dimmable. I think that's what you mean, unless you mean it dims CCT as it dims, which would be our dim to warm tape. In either case, the answer is yes. It just depends on which one you're referring to. Wouldn't damp be appropriate for the top of a shower if it was in a channel? Yeah, I believe technically directly above a shower requires a wet location listing, but I have seen contractors be able to seal off that channel or build an enclosure that they can qualify it as wet location. Can all tapes use this sensor? We all tapes have an available sensor, but some of our tapes are 2-wire or 3-wire, and so which sensor you use is dependent on the tape, but it'll be on the spec sheet for that particular tape that you're interested in. Question here, how could you change colors in the RGB tape? She got it with the DMX system and tying it into a control system. Gemini tape for the sensor. Yes, we have a sensor for the Gemini tape. Right on the spec sheet under the accessories, you'll see it. Oh, is this compatible with automation systems like Control4, RTI? Yeah, these are, I mean, every one that we spoke about today is dimmable with ELV or 0 to 10 volt or triac dimmer, depending on what power supply you choose. And so any one of those systems would have a ELV module or 0 to 10 volt module or, standard dimming module. Yeah, anyone, Danny, for example, if you want to just reach out to me and my email's in the chat, I can help, and just let me know where you're from. I can help connect you to the right spot to get you started. I'm going to hang out for a few more minutes. If anyone else has questions, some of us aren't quick typers, or they're still absorbing what we went through. Okay, how does a 24-volt DC transformer driver affect load and light output for pro or light tape? The 24-volt DC is going to improve the brightness as compared to an AC transformer. But to be quite honest, at 100, 200, 300 lumens, it's very hard to tell the difference. It did not pass an eye test internally. Is this webinar taped and can it be sent to us? It is taped. It will be shown on YouTube, and I believe it'll be also on our webpage. Rachel, maybe we can send it to the attendees as well. Melinda, hey Melinda, is there a cost for reps for the tape light kit? There is. It is discounted, but there is a small cost to it, yes. Distributor lists are not in the website. We have a where to buy on our website. That'd be the easiest place to find our local distributors to you. Is it possible to use access drivers with integrated Zigbee Pro with the Invisalign tape lights? I'm not familiar with access drivers. I'm not familiar with that system. My thought would be that if it was a 24-volt DC output, in theory, it should work as long as you had one of our lead wires, but it'd have to be class 2 and the load would have to be right. But I can't fully confirm that. When did we say the new catalog was going to be mailed out? That's a phenomenal question. I believe they are finished printing and they should be distributed sometime, I would guess, within the next week. And if you're still here, listen to me babble on. Check us out for our third installment of the Contractor Solutions webinar. I think we go into recessed is our next one. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining. Thanks for taking the time out of your day. We appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. Thanks, guys. And unit.